Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Okay. Quick question to all of you. Is everybody able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
And those of you who, Kilandeshwari, Nanda, Bhupesh, if you can turn on your videos, I would appreciate it. I'm used to teaching while looking at people. So even though I'm not going to conduct a lesson today, still it'd be nice to see each other, just like you like to see me. Okay. So I'm going to mute all of you again. So, Sarvebhyaha Namaskaraha. Thanks to all of you for registering for Sasyam. And my name is Jayakumar Srinivasan Ammangudi. Father's first name is Srinivasan. My paternal grandparents were from a small village called Ammangudi, which is about 20 kilometers from the temple town called Kumbakonam, Temple City in Tamil Nadu. And I was born in Kumbakonam, but really grew up in Hyderabad. So I did all my schooling in Hyderabad. So for all practical purposes, Hyderabad is like my hometown. And then I went to college in Chennai. I studied, I became a chemical engineer, studying there at IIT for about 5 years. Then wanted to do some research. So went to US to do my master's and PhD, and then started working in a large chemical company. And then along the way, at about that time, about 93, 94, I had a chance to, I ended up at an ashram called Arshavidya Gurukulam, and got a chance to listen to Swami Dayananda Saraswati. Some of you may have heard of him. And so once I did that, then I suddenly became very interested in Vedanta. And so since then, I've been listening to his talks on Vedanta, various topics, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, etc. And those days, no MP3 and things like that, all audio cassettes. So I had purchased boxes and boxes of cassettes from the ashram and put it in my dicky in the trunk of my car, and then drove all the way back near Chicago where I used to live. And every day I used to listen. So slowly my interest grew, and then I moved to Houston around 2000, and then by 2003 or so I started Sanskrit classes. I started Bhagavad Gita classes. I started teaching children about our dharma, and young children as well as older children. So it was a very nice time. For about 15 years we did that, and then finally I decided to close shop, and I wanted to just study and teach full-time, really speaking. And so when I came to India, I now live in Coimbatore. This is where my parents are. I take care of my very senior parents. And but I got a chance to attend the ashram. Here there is another ashram called Arshavidya Gurukulam. Again, Swami Dayananda Saraswati had established it many decades ago. So I stayed in the ashram for 2 years and took this long-term course, Vedanta and Sanskrit course. And in 2017, December, I came out of there. And at that time, Swamiji asked me to teach whatever I could, whatever I liked to. So since then, I've been teaching. I've been conducting some Sanskrit classes, Vedanta classes. I conduct a class for college students once a week. I teach Veda Parayanam, and I'm conducting a Shloka class. And I'm, of course, studying further also. So that's my background in brief. And so last year, I started teaching. I was teaching Sanskrit in the US for many years, but my friends were asking me to teach Sanskrit again online. So now that's where I had a problem because, teaching Sanskrit requires a lot of engagement. And so I didn't know. I mean, I've not done anything online like this. And so other than attending some meetings online, and so I was a bit apprehensive. So I started teaching Sanskritam, and then I use the methodology of Samskrita Bharati. So I like conversation. So Samskrita Sambhashanena, Sambhashana Vidya, Sanskritam, Samskrita Pathanam Abhavat. So then what happened, this went on and things really worked very well. And I learned how to use the system. And we developed some techniques to, engage in the class. And so all that worked out. And then we got to a point where we were interested in Samskrita Bharati's, they have a four-tiered learning system. Pravesha, Parichaya, Shiksha and Kovida. Just like Hindi those days, Pratmik, etc. people used to take. And so then all my students wanted to attend this exam. So they attended the exam and then of course they passed and so forth. Now, along the way, what happened? See, I used to record all my classes, put it on YouTube. And then for the benefit of those students who missed the classes only, it's not for public consumption. And so suddenly what happened, a few people came to know of these classes and started viewing these videos without my knowledge. And even started doing homeworks. See, every week I give a homework after the class and the homework is due before the next class. So I've designed the course in such a way that it's like a college course. It's like you would go to a college and get a grade or credits for that. So they started doing homeworks also, and it came to a point where these 4 students who could not attend my live class started watching the videos and started doing the homeworks, and then they even attended this exam, wrote this exam, and they passed. I have not even seen their face. A couple of them, I know of them, I spoke to them, but I've never seen them. And they keep thanking me. I said, why are you thanking me? I said, oh, these classes are great. I mean, I'm not saying the classes are great. They told me that, okay? So then they told me that you should allow others to follow this model. And that was the genesis of this course, where now those students are all in the second stage, and I'm teaching them the second level Sanskritam course. And so I'm opening up those first set of classes to all of you who have registered for it. So that's the context behind why I offered this course called Sasyam. Sasyam means a small plant which is beginning to grow and wants to grow more and excited to see the world like all of us are today. So shortly, I'll open up the floor for discussions, and you can tell me, what brought you here and give us your background. So I'll tell you a little more about Sanskritam itself. I don't think you all need to know much. I mean, many of you have expressed interest. I wanted to study the Shastram, Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, etc. And that is the primary goal of the Sanskrit teaching that I do. My goal is to not make everybody speak Sanskritam, although speaking is a means for me, it's not an end. Primarily, the homeworks are all written by hand on a piece of paper, and you submit it, and so everything is finally written. And my prayer and hope is that, you know, I'm able to inspire all of you enough so that you can continue your study of Sanskritam, and like I did, and be able to study our Shastra. So so as I said, this course will be one of the things I found in over the last 10 years, 15 years is many friends express their desire to learn Sanskrit. Nobody has come to me and said, you know, Sanskrit, oh, that's a dead language. Come on, what do you get by learning Sanskrit? Nobody has ever told me that. I've never heard that. Everybody always had a desire to learn Sanskrit. Many of them say, oh, I wish I will get the time to study in the future. Or a few people might say, are you teaching? Can I join your class, etc. But I always found that there was always a struggle. You know, it's like falling in love and then stepping back. And then falling in love and then stepping back. And something happens. And whether it is just our routine or not, I don't know. But one thing is lack of guidance. Today, if you go to Google and look for Sanskrit learning resources, there are so many resources. My goodness, you can get lost. Is it not true? Are there so many resources? Video resources are there, and PDF files are there, and Chitrapur Mutt is there, and Vyoma is there, and so many resources are there. My God. And what happens? Finally, you sit and say, what do I do? What do I do? So that guidance for learning Sanskrit is always important. That's what I felt. And I also felt that anybody who has the guidance is able to pick up, and they need that guidance constantly. And so I told myself that if I am teaching this language, I also want to provide that constant guidance. And the guidance has to go outside the class also. And so I tried my best in the last 1 year, and so my students tell me that it seemed to work. And so in this curriculum also, my goal is that you will watch those videos, one video every week, and then there will be a tutorial session either at the end of that week or the end of the next week, once in a week or once in 2 weeks, depending on the content. So that in that tutorial session, you get to practice what you learned and then be able to do your homework. And homeworks are due every week. And I spent a lot of time creating these homeworks. I've used materials from the textbooks, which I will talk about in a minute. And so sometimes I used to spend even 2 hours, 3 hours, even 5, 6 hours just creating a homework after a class is done. So I'll finish a class on a Friday morning, 6:45 to 8:15, and then till 1, 2 o'clock I'm working. I've not finished the homework, and then I finally, turn the homework over to students. And so I've spent a lot of time on that, and so perhaps once you start using those resources, you will form your own opinion, and you can share that with me. So that's the background, and I've already spoken for 20-25 minutes, and I'll show you the textbooks and things like that. But first, let me open up here the meeting. I'm going to unmute all of you, and sometimes unmuting everybody creates a problem because yeah, now look at that. So we hear noises and all these things happen. Now smiles and laughter is okay. I don't mind that. Yeah, this one, musical instruments we hear. That's the one that intrigues me. So yeah, so those of you who are still watching me, if you're doing something like writing or having dinner or cutting vegetables or something like that, I suggest you stop doing it. So let's see if that noise goes away. So yeah, in our classes there is an unsaid rule, which is that you don't, you're not munching cookies, or you're not cutting vegetables, or you're not dressing up your child because the child is going to school. There's a lot of duties we all have, and I don't say anything is wrong. I think we have to do all these things. But turning your video on or off and then you're doing other things, that won't help you and that won't help me also. So there's always a video that you can watch later. And so what I'll do is this. I feel like I want to hear you. You can introduce yourselves. You can tell us your name, where you're from, what you're doing professionally, as a family, what are you doing, and some background and what brought you here. And so let's go around the room and do that. Okay. So I'm going to go from the left of my screen to the right. I see Yagyam here on the left. And then after that, we'll hear from Sudha, Parimala, then Priya Ganapati. Go ahead, Yagyam ji. Go ahead and unmute yourself and speak.
Thank you for giving an opportunity to learn the Sanskrit. We are very happy. So I am Egirama Subramanian. She is my wife. She is a Gomati Subramanian. We all are hail from Tirunelveli, and I am a financial profession working in Middle East for over 25 years, and I am working with ExxonMobil, the oil and exploration company, and we are right now in Doha.
Doha, okay.
Doha, Qatar, and we are again. I have a son. He is doing his graduation in Dubai, and of course, as you know, we are alone here. So, and the reason what brought you here is the one. We are from the ritual family. As you know, from my first name, again, we are from the ritual family. So we have a regular puja at home. We have a Shiva puja at home. But the reason is we know the mantra, and I read Upanishad mostly in Tamil. And most of all, I go to some of the things and study online. But thing is, the content is not clear. What exactly? Because everyone has their own interruptions. That one reason. And another reason is sometimes the pronunciation in the Sanskrit is totally different from what is written in Tamil. So one of my friend's wife, she's a PhD. So the reason why I'm here was one of the day we were having a Rudra Javam at my home. So now my friend's wife was a PhD in Sanskrit. She said over 70% of her pronunciation was wrong.
Sure.
So So that was a point where I said, okay, let's stop this and then we start. What I do is right now is I do Chalakara brothers. I just put up, switch on their audios and then start doing Abhishekam and other things. So that's one of the things reason here. And I also read Upanishad. Now I feel a couple of Upanishad, but all again through a guru, we are doing it. But when he recited the Upanishad in Sanskrit, I have no idea what's talking about. And moreover, I also have an interest, and from my family, some lot of people still speak Sanskrit because of our political reasons. We lost that things. That's a very sad part. So thanks that I'm back to the path. With your help, I hope we learn Sanskrit.
Sure.
Again, thank you and all our pranams.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. And yes, and I'm impressed by your family, your traditions, commitment to our Vedas and keeping the rituals alive. And Karma Kanda very important. And there are you can roughly divide the Vedas into two: Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. And so your Karma Kanda is equally important. So my salutes to all your ancestors and your sampradaya. And coming to Tamil pronunciation, when I started teaching Sanskrit 15 years ago, one of my students was exactly in your position, or Shiromani's position, Hema. And suddenly it dawned on me that the pronunciation is all wrong, and so ka kha ga gha nga. That's 5 letters in Hindi and Sanskrit. But thanks to our EVR Periyar, he said, why do you need 5 letters? Just make it into 1 letter. That should be enough. It's a waste. Remembering 5 letters, it's a headache. So he just made it 1 ka over. And so where is ka? Where is Mahaprana ka? And then ga is a soft consonant and ka is a hard consonant. All gone. And so Ganga will be Kanga. It will be written as Kanka. Only if you know what it is, you have to know what the word is, and then you have to change your pronunciation accordingly. But fortunately, Sanskrit is not like that. Every letter is to be pronounced exactly as it should be pronounced in any word. And so those mental gymnastics we don't need to play in Sanskrit. So yeah, I'm sure you will benefit from this class. And so hope you all will enjoy this journey. Okay, Sudha, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello, Jay Kumar sir and the rest of the group. So nice to meet you today. So I'm Sudha Parimala Ravindran, and Ravindran is my dad's name. I'm from Coimbatore, basically. And my parents live in Coimbatore, and I did my MPhil. Until my MPhil, I was in Coimbatore. I had my schooling and college in Coimbatore, and then I moved to Germany for my PhD in biology. So I completed it in September 2018, and right now I'm in Sweden doing my postdoctoral research in marine biology.
Okay.
And what brought me here is while I was in Hamburg doing my PhD, we have a group called as the Vishnu Sahasranama Parayana group, and there we regularly meet at each other's house every week and then chant Vishnu Sahasranama and other shlokas. Of course, I come from a family who are very much devoted to God. So, but yet the feeling of more Hinduism or being more dharmic came into me when I moved to Germany, actually, to speak the truth. So even when I was in Coimbatore, even if there was a temple nearby, it was very rare for me to go and visit a temple. I mean, I loved visiting temple, but the opportunity to visit a temple was I found myself giving excuses for not visiting a temple and chanting slokas or learning anything. So, so what I want to learn through this course is, one is being more specific on learning how to pronounce slokas in the proper way, and getting, I don't know what's the English term for spashta, getting the spashta in your language.
Yeah.
So that is one thing. And another, a long-term lifetime goal that I have in mind is to relate biology and Vedanta. Or, for example, there are so many instances from our great scriptures where biology has played an important role. For example, and right now in biology, they're making such advancements. So I think as a beginning step to start learning our historic scriptures, I should at least know what are the basic things. So at least for that, I wanted to start the learning session. If not now, I'm not going to do it ever in my life. So all these years I had an excuse that I want to do PhD and finish it off. Now it's like, okay, I'm calm and peaceful. Fine, I will do it now, or it's never going to happen. So I'm looking forward to learn, and I'm very excited to start this new journey. Thank you.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, often only when we leave our home or home country, we begin to appreciate what the country offers. Yes. So that's not unusual. I think everybody goes through that, and same with me. And I never learned anything about Vedas or Vedanta when I was in India. So only, something happens, you don't plan for it and it happens, right? So
exactly.
So I'm glad you're here, and so let's see what we can do, and all the best to you. And
thank you.
And so now you're in Sweden, you said, right?
I'm in Sweden right now.
Okay, good.
So I'm in Sweden. It's not a very fancy, bigger city. I live on an isolated island doing research. So yeah, and I think I have more time now, at least, to learn Sanskrit.
Good. I think so. I think that available time.
Yes.
There are many useful ways in which you can use that time, and so
exactly.
So that's nice. So I guess you're on an island, so that makes it convenient for you to do that experimentation and investigation, right?
Exactly. So I'm near the Baltic Sea. So we get our samples directly from the Baltic Sea just with the help of a pipe. So basically we just get the samples, go there, get it, and then come to a lab and do the experiment. So we're just close to the Baltic Sea.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, my master's was in the area of biotechnology. So
nice.
So, but after that I switched areas to computer-aided chemical plant layout design and things like that. But
okay, interesting.
Excellent. Yeah. Welcome to Sasyam.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Priya.
Good evening, everyone. Hello all. Namaste, sir. Namaskaram. I'm Priya Ganapati. Ganapati is my husband. I'm from a small town in Tanjore district called Manargudi. I did my schooling there, college. I did MCA and worked for banking sector. And I married to a Trinelveli family. And he's Ganapati Subramaniam. And because of his job, we are here in England now. I'm in Leeds here. I have two daughters, blessed with two daughters, 14 years and 9 years, and both are doing school here. And coming from a very religious and Orthodox family, and I want to share what my dad taught to me. I want to share with my daughters. So I started teaching them slokas during their very initial stage, and both of my daughters will recite many of slokas, bhajans, and even sahasranamams. And on and off, at home we do sahasranama chanting and all. And now I want to upgrade myself with other Narayaniyam. Just in the sloka part, I want to upgrade myself, and so I want to do it with clear spashtam, as Sudha said. So I want to explore Sanskrit now.
Good.
I'm basically now I'm a homemaker, and I'm working with a NGO for blind school.
Blind
That's
school.
from my side.
School of blind children.
Blind school. Yeah.
I see. I see. Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah.
So that's about myself, and I think we are really blessed to have a good guru like you. Thanks for the opportunity, sir.
Well, I've not taught you yet, so you will see whether it's good or not.
Yeah, I know.
So you can hold your thought. So yeah, very nice. So I think many people in earlier classes too, and many of you also said in your registration form, I want to learn so that I want to teach my children. That's of course a very natural desire to have, and I'm teaching a shloka course, and there I've told my students that the goal of that course is not simply to learn a few shlokas, but actually to be able to teach children, teach other people who don't know shlokas and things like that. So that, because shlokas it's easier to teach than, maybe Sanskrit or Vedanta or something like that. So very nice. So definitely pronunciation is a big part of Sanskrit learning, and so I'm sure things will work out. Thanks for joining, Priya Ganapati.
Thank you.
Mahendran, Sylvie, Croisier, and Hiran, in that order. Yeah, we cannot hear you yet. You are unmuted, but still we can't hear you. No, we can't hear you yet. We cannot hear you. So okay, while you work through that, go ahead, Sylvie Croisier.
So I am Sylvie Croisier. I am from Switzerland. I don't speak very well English, but I will do it. I am 48 years old, and I would like to learn Sanskrit to chant mantras, puja, etc. I speak French, so the accent is very hard, and I am I work in a bank, and I have studied law.
Sorry, so, I didn't follow that. Yeah.
Yes, I work in a bank.
Yeah.
And I have studied law.
Okay, so 2 days off for the bank.
Yes.
Okay, so today is a day off. That's why you're able to call in. You mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. And where do you live in France?
I am in Switzerland.
Oh, you are in Switzerland. Correct. Okay.
Yes, near to Lausanne. Lausanne is 60 kilometers from Genf, and we spoken French, and I speak German too, and my English is not so good, but for me it's a good opportunity to learn Sanskrit. So I have said I will learn English and Sanskrit together.
Yeah, so the thing about this course is all conversations in classes are all in Sanskritam. So actually, yeah, your the so-called inability to speak Sanskrit is not a barrier for this course. So not a problem, in other words. So I think you're safe, and so you have had. How did you get introduced to this? Chanting, doing pujas, chanting mantras, and all that.
Yes, I have known Swamiji in February. I have done Padapuja, and for me, that was a big click. And I would like, I have. I want Upanishads, Vedas, Agamas learned, and I have see that a lot of words are in Sanskrit, and that the pronunciation nicht, no, not coincide with what written is.
Sure.
So so that's the ground.
Sure.
Sorry. It's difficult for me. I am sorry.
No, that's good. That's good. You're making a lot of effort, and extremely good effort. So I followed everything you said. So I think from a timing perspective, well, one good news about this course is since the classes, the videos are all offline, and you can watch the video at your own time, convenient time, and the time difference it doesn't affect you. But the tutorial classes for now, they are in the mornings, Tuesday mornings, okay, 6:45. So what we'll do is once we start having the classes, and 6:45 is too early for you, right? It'll probably be like midnight or something for you, I think, right?
Yes, I can wake up. That is, it's no problem. I can wake up and learn with the group.
Okay, and there are folks, England, Leeds. So what time, what is the time difference between here and England? Probably 5 hours?
From India to Swiss, that is the minus 3 hours and
okay.
3.5 hours.
Yes.
No, it's for UK, it's actually 4.5 hours.
4.5
time difference
hours.
between India and UK.
Correct.
Okay.
So that would be the maximum because that's the most west of India, I think, right? So Switzerland, France, etc. All these countries are east of that. So you could say probably 4.5 is the maximum time difference. Is my guess right now. Okay. Still, I mean, 6:45 a.m. in the morning would be, at 2 o'clock-ish in England. So that can make it a little difficult. So let the class start, and then let's see how everybody's placed, and if we can have the class in the night or something, tutorial, then maybe that'll help you. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for joining. And you're 45. I'm 55. So you're still younger than me. So enjoy. What can I say?
Thank you.
So okay, go ahead, Hiranji.
Namaste Acharya ji. Namaste to everyone. I am basically from Tamil Nadu, but have been settled in Bangalore for the past 10 years. And as you had said rightly, this has just happened to me now. I've been waiting for this to happen quite some time. First time when I heard the mantras from my guru, I was really mesmerized by the sound, just the sound alone. And from then on, of course, I have been exposed to the spiritual journey for the past 2 decades. And but I haven't got the right opportunity to learn the language as such, though I have learned some of the slokas and other things. But this has just happened, I happened to see it accidentally in Sanskriti. And the first word which impressed me was Arsha Vidyashram. I have been to the Coimbatore Arsha Vidyashram ashram. So I knew I'm at the right place. I didn't have to, as you had said, there are so many portals, but never once had that intention to go into it and study as such, So this is like sort of a calling answered kind of a thing, I would say. So I'm only here. I'm only grateful for what has happened. And I'm just open to whatever it's going to unfold to me. So that's about it. Namaste.
Very nice. Very nice. Nice attitude. Okay. So you are now settled in Bangalore.
Yes, kind of. My husband and daughter, she finished her master's in psychology, and she's in the human resources. So mainly for her sake, like, we said it's fine. Like, we were in Tamil Nadu. She came here to do her master's in Bangalore.
Yeah.
And that's how we also came, and we are here right now.
Nice. Thanks for joining, Kiranji.
Thank you.
Okay, Mahendran, shall we try again?
I think they have to unmute in their individual screen. That's how I did now.
Yeah, so can you speak, Mahendran? Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, it's better now. So it's feeble, but I can hear you. So maybe you should go closer to your mic or something like that. So go ahead and speak. Are you speaking? Yeah, Mahendran, are you speaking? Okay. So we will come back to you. So Ayan Sengupta, Sunanda, Tumati, and Yadunandan in that order.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Ayan, Dr. Ayanji.
Right. So I am originally from Kolkata, and I am, I took Diksha from Ramakrishna Mission. And I studied until my bachelor's in Kolkata. I did my master's in the US. I did my PhD in Germany, and I did a couple of postdocs in the UK. I'm still in the UK. And I am working in clinical neuroscience in the University of Cambridge. And the reason why I'm here is that I really want to. One of my principal research interests is to understand the concept of consciousness, and I cannot really find any scientific explanation, of what consciousness is. But what I can remember from my childhood is that my grandma would always tell me something about, like knowing your own Brahma. And that's how I got very interested in it. And the reason why I'm here is to understand our Shastras so that I can read them. And I feel quite ashamed to say that I cannot read and write or even speak in one of the most scientific language in the world. And I thought it's high time that I learn it. And actually it's an entirely a scientific pursuit that I can start reading my texts and like the Shastras, as you mentioned, and I can try to find something in there which leads to my research. That's all. Thank you.
Very nice. Yeah, of course, the Shastra does talk a lot, especially if you want to come to Vedanta, talks a lot about Satchidananda and Brahma that you already mentioned, Brahman.
Yeah.
So which is often translated as consciousness, but and so good. It's a fascinating journey, and because the consciousness is not an object, you're not going to be able to spot it by a microscope, and because the one behind the microscope is consciousness. And so it's like, sometimes they send you this WhatsApp things. You touch it, you're supposed to touch something, and then you go and touch it, it moves away from you, and so it keeps on moving away. You can really never touch it with your mouse. So good luck. It's a nice journey, and that's the
I just want to tell you one thing, is that, like you mentioned about Chicago and Houston. So one of my, I have two maternal uncles. One is a professor in Chicago, and the other one is a scientist in Houston. So again, and to one of the previous speakers, I think her name was Sudha. Hamburg is, I did my PhD in Berlin, and Hamburg is one of my most favorite cities. And currently, as you know, I'm in Cambridge, and I'm also in the pursuit of understanding how the brain works, and that is why I'm here. So
maybe we can collaborate someday.
Maybe, absolutely, yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, thanks for joining, Dr. Ayan Sengupta. Yeah, we have so one of my past students. One of the things we'll do is pair you up with one of my past students, so that you can have constant help during this course. And so we have Rupa Agarwal from Kolkata. And but I don't know, do you speak Bengali also, or?
Yes.
Okay, so that's good, because so that you do speak at least one Indian language.
I speak Hindi as well, so.
Good, yeah, good. And what about Devanagari? So you speak Hindi, but can you read Devanagari?
A little bit, yes.
Okay, good. And the reason I'm asking is because I'm not going to be teaching Devanagari. Okay, so I'm going to assume that hello, சொல்லுமா, கிளாஸ் நடத்திட்டு இருக்கேன், சொல்லு, சீக்கிரம் சொல்லு. சரி.
Can the rest of you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So I'm not teaching the course, as you know.
You can try.
Right.
So Jai Kumar sir, we cannot hear you.
How about now?
Can
you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So
yes.
The connection got interrupted because I am actually connected to the internet through my telephone, and somebody just called me, and so when somebody calls, it just cuts off the internet, and so that's how at least my internet got lost. Maybe you were all okay.
I think we can hear you now.
So I was saying, Dr. Ayan, I was saying that I will not
Please call me Ayan.
Okay. Ayan, I will not be teaching Devanagari, and that's why I asked you that question. And so I will make an assumption that everybody can at least read the letters of Devanagari. Okay. So if you have to catch up a little bit, we'll see if we can give you some resources to catch up. But I will not be teaching the letters, the alphabet in this course. Okay.
that might be a little bit helpful if you give us the materials ahead, because as I said, like the Bengali alphabet is similar to Devanagari, but it's not exactly the same. So
correct. Okay.
I read Bengali, no problem, but I don't read Hindi that well.
Okay, so send me a note after this class, after this session. Take down my number, and it's I'll give it to you if you're ready.
Yes.
The country code is 91 and 89033. So that is 89033. 02805. 02805. So the full number is 89033 02805. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So you can get in touch with me afterwards. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining, Ayan.
No problem. Thank you.
So let's see who is next. Yadunandan, go ahead.
I thought it was me. No?
Yeah. So who was that? Go ahead.
Yeah, Sunanda.
Yeah, Sunanda, go ahead. Yes.
Hi. Namaskaram, everyone, and Namaskaram, Guruji. Thank you so much for this kind of a medium, because this is something that I think I'm also away from India. I'm in Dubai. That's something that I've been missing for so many years. As you clearly mentioned, based on so many others said, that only when you leave out of the country, you start really missing what's not there with you, because you take too much things for granted. So I was born and brought up in Chennai. I hail from a family who basically speaks Telugu, so I can speak Telugu as well and Tamil as well. So basically, my dad was not dad. My dad is a PhD in Sanskrit, and growing up, I think I took advantage of him being the person, trying to push me to learn Sanskrit. But I never really took that active involvement of liking the language. Although, I know I've studied, I've learned, I've recited Bhagavad Gita every day in the morning. I've got some prizes and everything, but I sort of never took it to the next level further. And that's something that I've realized in the last few years. Is there's sort of like a gap in my life, and then I realized what is that I really want to do. And I realized that's something that the like for languages, and then I realized that I sort of fall in line after my dad. And I think that's and now if I actually go after my dad and say, can you please teach me Sanskrit, it will be too kiddish. So I thought, let me do some effort on my side, and then probably I could later on stage, if I need his help, I could go ahead. And that's when my interest for Sanskrit came into place. I work with Microsoft as a market intelligence lead. So pretty much my week is occupied, but I really want to find some time for myself. And one way of doing that is to engage myself in learning languages. So I also picked up German language, because that's also something that's very close to my dad, because he also learned German. And I thought, okay, maybe this is the time I learn the languages again, and then sort of do with something I will figure out as and when I go in the future. I think I realized that that's what I would want to do for the rest of my life, to learn languages and to learn for the next generation, and to identify something that I want to do in the rest of my life.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, so I did not pick up. Where are you located right now?
I'm located in Dubai.
Oh, Dubai. Okay.
Yeah. I've been here for last 6 years. Prior to this, I was in the UK. Yeah, sort of I've been away from India for over 10 years now.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Bhupesh. Go ahead. If you have to see the doctor, go ahead, and you can join later, or you can even see the recorded video. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, your dad is a PhD in Sanskrit, so that's a big plus. You've got from a young age, you had a good push, and
yes,
and so that's an advantage that many of us did not have. And so yeah, there is a lot of similarity between German and Sanskrit.
Yes,
I studied French when I was doing an undergraduate, but I think what I'm finding is, a lot of these Sanskrit engines, they're all developed in Germany, And
Yeah.
so the Germans have a lot of affinity for Sanskrit. And
Exactly.
starting from Max Miller, who started studying Sanskrit for a different purpose. But still, see, the other day I was teaching, Sanskrit is very mathematical and very logical. So that's what attracts a lot of people who like that kind of construct. So I was teaching a shloka in the last class. So it was on Saraswati. And so Ya Devi Stuyate Nityam. What is it? Ya Devi Stuyate Nityam Vibudhair Veda Paragaihi. And then Same Vasatu Jihva Agre Brahma Rupa Saraswati. Like that the shloka comes. Okay. And so I was explaining the word Paragaihi. There is a word called Paragaihi in this shloka. And so Paraga is the noun. Paraga is the noun. Okay. So that Paraga consists of two roots. Para and Ga. Okay. Or Para and Ga. I should do this way. Okay. And so Para means what? Par karna. Par karna. So crossing over, etc. This Ga is to go. The word go in English comes directly from the root Ga in Sanskrit. So Ga means to go. So one jo par karta hai, wo parag hai. Okay, if you want me to say in Hindi, that's how it will work. So parang gacchati iti paraga. So one who crosses, one who does something big. Okay, so what is that? Veda Paraga. It says here Veda Paraga. So one who has crossed over the entire Vedas, which means one who has mastered the Vedas. So that is how we understand, build the meaning of Paraga, right? Now, I'll ask you a question. In Hindi, what is the word for bird? Bird. Yeah, go ahead and unmute yourself and say
Panchi.
Pakshi.
Pakshi, Panchi, and then what else? One more word.
Kuyil.
So there is a word. There is a word called khag. Khag.
Khaga.
Khag. Okay. So the khag, same in Sanskrit. It's actually a Sanskrit word. And so go back to parag. So we are now coming to khag from parag. And same thing. Kha in Sanskrit means akasha, means space.
Okay, so who has crossed the...
So ke gacchati iti khagaha. Ke gacchati. So akashe gacchati. The one who moves in the sky is called khaga. Very straightforward. I mean, this is not rocket science actually. Ke gacchati. Okay, so ke gacchati. Now I'll ask you another question. What is the word? Yeah, go ahead, Ayan.
In Bengali, we, like, if I cannot do something, it says aparag. So does that mean that does it come from the same word?
I think so, because you just said cannot do something. So you are not able to cross, you're not able to, master something. You're not able to do something. So therefore it's called aparag. Look at that. Bengali has a lot of Sanskrit. And here is an example right there. And so there is a word in Sanskrit for snake called uragaha. Uragaha. Okay. And how is it derived? Uras. Uras means stomach or chest. Stomach or chest. Okay. Uras. Okay. And then urasa gacchati. Urasa gacchati. So that which moves on the stomach. Moves on the stomach. Okay. Gacchati. Same ga only. Ga to go. One that goes on the stomach. And so it can be a snake, it can be any reptile, it can be a crocodile also. So uragaha. So once you understand ga, and then any noun you can add in front of it, and you can form another noun like paragaha, or uragaha, or khagaha, or akashagaha. Okay. So that's So that's how Sanskrit works. And I was reminded when you talk about German, etc. So it opens up a whole new world for us, and then and so it's very fascinating. And I hope many of you will, all of you, I'm sure. But that's what got me into this game. Very nice, very nice. Nice to have you, Sunanda. Hope you will enjoy this course like I've done in the past. Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. We've got a few more people. Lavanya is left. Parameshwaran is there. Akhilandeshwari is there. Who else? Yeah, and then Charvi has joined. So it's 10 o'clock. Yeah, we have some time. Normally my classes are 1.5 hours because, it's just once a week. And so it's really pointless to have a 50-minute or a 1-minute class if you are meeting just for once a week. So my classes typically are in the morning, 6:45 to 8:15 Indian Standard Time. So today, if you don't mind, I don't mind continuing for another half an hour. If you all are okay with that, we can do that. Okay. Thanks. So let's do that. Akhilandeshwari, are you able to hear us? Yeah, go ahead and unmute yourself and.
Namaskaraha.
Namaskaraha.
I am Akhila. I am from Trichy, Tamil Nadu. Right now, I am in Bangalore. I got married and I'm settled right now in Bangalore. When I was around in 8th standard, I got the opportunity of learning Sanskrit through Samskrita Bharati. I used to attend the 10-day class. I learned little Sanskrit, but I lost touch with it later. So I want to continue with it further. I did my PT in bioinformatics, and when I was in my teenage, I used to think a lot about, like, this is one of the most scientific language in the world. So that caught my interest basically, and I'm also interested in sloga chanting. There is something into that. Like many knowledgeable people are here. Many people are from biology, neuroscience, and etc. Today, in today's world, we learn more about the effect of Sanskrit. Like it's the day-to-day use of Sanskrit helps us in our cognitive as well as psychological, physiological, and in any walk of life, it has an impact. So I want to enrich my Sanskrit knowledge, mainly grammar part. That is why I'm here. I'm here in this group. Thank you.
सम्यक् भवती सम्भाषणमपि जानाति इति मन्ये किञ्चित् प्रायः.
Yeah, अहं संस्कृते सम्भाषणं कर्तुं शक्नोमि, किन्तु स्वल्पं it was a long time, so I lost some part of it, so I want to review it back.
चिन्ता मास्तु सम्यक् स्वागतं.
धन्यवादः.
अस्तु, Lavanya, go ahead.
Good evening. Namaskaram. My name is Lavanya. I am from Aberdeen, Scotland in UK. As the person Akhilandeshwari spoke, I also learned Sanskrit when I was a child, but honestly, I can't remember anything. And Sanskrit had always been a really nice language, and I really wanted to learn. And there are a lot of people here in Scotland who can, who are good at Sanskrit and stuff. And there is one particular teacher who teaches slokas to my child, and he always explains these slokas as he teach, and that has been a big inspiration for me to learn Sanskrit. And I'd always had neighbors when I was a child who were able to converse in the language. So somehow spoken Sanskrit always had been something that I really wanted to do. And now that I'm on my maternity leave, I know that I've definitely got time. Sorry if you're hearing my child scream right next to me. I'm sorry about that. I've got 2 children, one a 6-year-old and another a 6-month-old. So now that I've got all the time to spend, I really wanted to do this and learn more. So I would appreciate Hinduism and slokas and everything as a result of it. And I really hope this would be a very useful session, and I would be sincere enough and learn this language. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, I think your baby is jealous of you because she says, "Wait a minute, I also want to learn Sanskrit, and you. This is not fair, and you're talking to everybody." And so I think,
That's another reason I should say, because when I started teaching shlokas to my child, he kept asking me the meaning and stuff, and which I couldn't explain honestly. And I always thought that I should learn Sanskrit before I teach him and inspire him as well. And again, another thing was when I was learning Lalita Sasnam on my own, my father-in-law was not happy about it at all. He kept telling me that all my pronunciation wasn't right. So I thought that was another reason why I should learn this language and tell that I know this and I should pronounce it well.
very nice, very nice. Yeah, thanks for joining. And despite having a baby and things like that, you've chosen to call in, so appreciate that. And so nice to have you, Lavanya. Okay, Parameshwaran Shankaran, I think. Can you hear us, Parameshwaran ji?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. I am Parameshwaran from Bombay. I am also doing this Sanskrit Bharati course. I with Peshan Parijaya. Now I am doing Shiksha. So I also know some Sanskrit. So that way I want to continue this. So when I started this course, I also was interested in learning more. So that is why I joined this. So I hope to improve my Sanskrit knowledge and then thereby gain that knowledge of that beautiful language like Vedas and Upanishads. So I am looking forward to it.
Sure. And so you're learning Shiksha in Bombay?
Sanskrit, yeah. Sanskrit by correspondence.
Oh, correspondence. So भवान् सम्भाषणमपि कर्तुं अवकाशः भवान् प्राप्नोति वा?
किञ्चित् संस्कृतं जानामि, किञ्चित् संस्कृतभाषया वदितुं शक्नोमि.
सम्यक्. शिक्षा तु तृतीयः स्तरः अस्ति. एतत् अत्र सस्यं शिक्षायां तु प्रथमस्तरः एव अत्र. So is that a problem for you? I mean, it's going to be very basic for you, is it not?
It's the basic for me. Yeah.
So
but any course in Sanskrit is welcome. So if it is I attend this on this is also okay. That will reinforce my knowledge.
Sure. Understood. Yeah. Thanks. Very inspiring to hear that your commitment to Sanskritam and your desire to learn more, etc. Thanks for doing it. Okay. Did we miss anybody else besides Charvi? Yeah, Idunandan is still there, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Sir, I'm also there, Shruti Gupta.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to sleep tonight unless everybody.
Hello, this is Yadunandan Narasimhan.
We are not able to. Your voice is feeble, so if maybe your mic is not placed properly or something, can you check?
Can you hear me now?
A little better.
No?
Yeah, same level. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and speak. Let's see.
My name is Yadunandan Narasimhan. I'm from Bangalore, but now I'm in Glasgow, Scotland.
Very hard to hear you. Then I'm having to keep my ears very close.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, something good happened. Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. I'm here in Scotland, in Glasgow. So I'm a structural engineer and I'm working in power sector. And the reason for me learning Sanskrit is I've been associated with ISKCON, where we try and read Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and try and understand the shlokas, whatever the meaning behind it. So the main intention to learn Sanskrit was to understand how we can interpret the shlokas and how we can relate to ourselves. But the main thing is to understand the Brahman, to know oneself. For that reason, I wanted to learn Sanskrit. I know Devangiri, Hindi, a little bit. But Sanskrit, I don't know much. I wish to learn.
Sure. Yeah. So we will start with the basics. We are not going to make any assumptions other than just Devanagari itself. We are not going to assume that you know even single word of Sanskrit. So now at the same time, we all being from the Hindu culture, we already know a lot. We know Ramayana, we know Mahabharata, etc. And so there is that we don't realize how much we know until we start studying a language like Sanskrit. And then all our shlokas suddenly comes. All words, suppose the word bhakti comes in the textbook. None of us is going to get confused by that word, right? Because we already know what it means. So yeah, thanks for joining, Yadunandan.
Thank you for making me to join this class.
Okay, so Shruti, now it's your turn, I think.
Yeah. Hari Om, Jai sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Namaskaram, and thank you so much, Jai sir, for this course, first of all, and thank you for allowing me for it. As for my I'm from Gurgaon, and as for qualification, I'm a PhD from IIT Delhi. I got convocated in 2017, but I feel fortunate to have got the exposure to Vedanta, and I've been studying Vedanta since 2011 now. And so when I started learning, attending classes, and I listened to Pujya Swamiji's talks, I realized that Sanskrit is such a specific language that there is no word in Sanskrit language which you would have an equivalent English word giving the same meaning, because it's such a specific language. It's a Deva Bhasha. And I completely also resonate with what Dr. Sasyam-2 was saying, that I feel ashamed to not being able to speak my language because I'm born in it's our language. I mean, even when I read Gita or Upanishad, they are like black words. I mean, you have to read the English translation, and which at times is filtered with the understanding of the writer. I mean, there's always that distance, and and also when I was doing the Kirti course with you, sir, I learned that when you know the meaning.
Shruti, 1 minute. I'm going to mute everybody because there is there's some noise coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
So okay, I muted everybody, and go ahead and unmute yourself and speak again. Continue.
Yeah. So as I was saying that, like I started the Kirti course with you, sir, I'm thankful now because I used to chant those verses even before. But now, after having learned the meanings, there's a total different bhav I find myself with when I'm saying the same thing. So, so my reason for learning Sanskrit is to be able to connect more with Shastram, and to be able to, at another stage in my life, to take up Shastra as an independent study after having heard from the gurus, and to be able to reflect and make my life worthy of a human life by knowing myself. So, and it was almost like a godsend when I got the message that you're taking the class, because I wanted to really learn Sanskrit. And I totally understand when you say that there's so many resources on the net, but if you don't have the guidance, then it is difficult. So I'm looking forward to the course, and I hope that I'm able to make the most of it. And I'm grateful and really thankful for for you to take this course.
Very nice, very nice. And
Yeah.
how did you encounter Swami Dayananda?
It was again online. I heard one of his talks on YouTube. And then I couldn't and then that day was mad. It was like people go for movie marathon. I was like doing talks marathon. I was like back to back listening to him for 2 days. I mean, he was making everything what he said was like making so much sense. And I don't have a reason, but I resonated with whatever he says. Even I listen to his I have a lot of his books. I mean, the next day I ordered a huge carton full of books by him, and I'm still reading them because there's so many that I'd ordered at once.
Yes.
So I have the Gita course, home study. I also am going for Vedanta classes here. I have my gurus, Dr. Mr. Partha Sarthiji, Sri Vishwanath Tekurji. So yeah, so it's that's where it is. Yeah.
And your PhD was in which area?
My PhD was in marketing management. So yeah, but Vedanta tells you that no matter what is your degree, you're still an ignorant if you don't know who you are. So I mean, that hits you hard, that if you don't know who you are, then you're missing out on the real thing.
Sure.
So with that idea, I want to really learn this Dev Bhasha and do justice to the human life, to my life, to be able to see the ultimate.
Sure.
That's my idea.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Nice. So you are in Delhi, I think. You're still in Delhi, or
I'm in Gurgaon. Yeah, I'm in Gurgaon. It's very close to Delhi, so it's called NCR region. So we are right at the Delhi-Gurgaon border. I'm in DLF, which is next to Delhi, but it falls in Gurgaon. Yeah.
Sure. So I said earlier. I said there are a few students who were watching these videos offline, and one of those, Sangeeta Vermaji, is from Gurgaon, and
okay.
Yeah, so she's been taking the courses, and she's probably done about 25 classes. She started a couple of months ago, and so.
Oh, okay.
And we have here Charvi Shah, and she's one of those who somehow heard about these classes, and I invited her to share her view because I wanted you to hear a student's perspective. How was it how does it feel for that kind of person? Because I cannot give you that feeling. And so she's here. She's calling in from Bombay. She's an architect, and of course she has a family, etc. So she's busy in her own way, and so I thought she could say a few words. Charvi, are you there?
Yes, Jay Kumarji. Namaste.
Namaste. We can hear you.
Yes. Namaste, everyone. It is such a pleasure to see all of you wanting to learn Sanskrit. So a little introduction about myself. I was born and brought up in Surat. And then I did my architecture from Ahmedabad. And then I got married and came to Bombay. And I have been living here for the past 16 years. I live here with my husband and son. My husband is also an architect. And so we have our small practice, of which I'm even a smaller part. So that's about me. So I came to know of Sanskrit, Sasyam in August 2018. And that was the same time when I had actually started my Vedanta studies. So I was really feeling the need to know the language for the same reasons that Shruti and a lot of other people have mentioned, that it is not possible to actually grasp the essence of the Shastras till and until you know Sanskrit. So I was really happy to know about Sasyam. But unfortunately, the time at which the live classes were being conducted did not suit me. I had a lot of other commitments at that time. And also, by the time I came to know about it, they were done with about 25 classes. So, firstly, I was a bit disheartened. And then a friend who herself is J. Kumarji's student, she suggested that I at least have a look at the YouTube recording, the videos once. And that's how it all started. I watched the videos and I really liked it. So I realized that I was learning a lot just by watching the videos, even though I was not attending the live classes. So then I realized that, okay, I think this is going to be the way to go about it. Then I spoke to Jay Kumarji about it, that if I could watch it offline and then I could just submit my homework if it was possible. And I'm really grateful to him that he made me a part of this Sasyam group and everything. It has been an amazing journey. So firstly, I would like to tell you something about the classes. So the classes go at a very comfortable pace. There's generally one concept taught per class, or even there are two classes sometimes taken for one concept. So there is a lot of repetition of that concept. So as you must have seen in today's orientation session also, that it is really interesting the way he teaches the concept. It kind of stays in your mind. It is not the conventional bookish way of teaching. So, and also the concept which is taught is being repeated a number of times by all the students. So they come up with their own examples based on the concept. So that's how there is a lot of repetition. So because of which, I feel in about 4 or 5 classes, I started phrasing simple Sanskrit sentences in my mind. I also started annoying my family by talking to them in simple Sanskrit the sentences. And it was a lot of fun. It was even more engaging because he adds in so many other things, like there are stories, there are shlokas, songs, video clips, movie clips. There are conversations by little children in Sanskrit, which is amazing to watch. There are documentaries by foreigners in Sanskrit on some technical things also, but it's in Sanskrit. So it's quite engaging, quite interesting. So it was fantastic. But in spite of this being so good, honestly, probably I would have given up because I had to do it on my own. I did not give up for the only reason that there was such a great back-end support. So at any point of time, it's either Jay Kumarji or any of his students, they're always there to help you. They're always there to clear your doubts. They're always there to motivate. So there is help whenever you require. There is guidance whenever you require. It's like, if it's not the students in India, it's the students in the US. So it's at any time you ask a question, your doubt get resolved. So that was one thing. And apart from this, there is a fantastic resource library that Jay Kumarji gives us. So the access to this library actually helped me I could start my studies even before I could get my books. So the library has everything. It's a Google Drive. It has all the digital version of the books and a lot of other resource materials. Like there are class notes, there are references, like so there is a lot of stuff like commonly used verbs, nouns, which really help you get familiar with the knowledge. You can actually start making your own sentences. You can start thinking simple sentences in Sanskrit using those resources. So all in all, there is a fantastic base for us. So yeah, then comes the homework, which is the most important part, I should say. So Jay Kumarji actually works very, very hard in working out the weekly homeworks based on the concept that is taught in the class. So once you start getting the homework, you yourself will see that how much time and effort he has put in just creating that homework for us. So the homework helped me in two ways. Firstly, the repetition of the concept that is taught in the class. You have to make a lot of sentences based on those concepts. So that really helps you to retain the topic well. And secondly, it gives you so much more confidence. You know, once you yourself start solving those questions, you get way more confidence. Especially for me, it was like when I started to write my own simple basic stories in Sanskrit, or when I started to break the shlokas, the anvaya, so then the shlokas came to me with a completely different meaning once you start breaking it down, once you know the meaning of each and every word. So that was amazing. And the second way in which the homework helps is it generates a lot of doubts. And getting those doubts clarified really clarifies the concept. So it worked fantastic for me. I was very, very happy the way it went. So I could watch the classes at my convenience. I did not have to bother about the privacy or about the noise coming in the background or people walking around me while the classes are going on. Another thing which really helped me was I used to, while watching the class, I used to, if there was something interesting or if there is some word that I had a doubt in, if there is a concept which I wanted to know more about, I would pause then and there. And then I would access other resources like the resources that Jay Kumarji gives us, then the dictionary which all of us will get familiar with very soon. And that way I could make the study more comprehensive. So that way it helped me, the offline classes. And lastly, for me, I like to see, like when I see the other students interacting, it gets more objective. I can grasp better when I see it in a more objective way rather than being a part of it. So that way it worked very well for me, and I'm sure it's going to work very well for all of you also. That's just one last very important piece of advice that I would like to give you all. So Jay Kumarji is actually doing a great service. He's giving us a fantastic base. But eventually, all of us are here because we want to learn Sanskrit. And it is only going to work, it is only going to be possible if we are committed. I think there needs to be a strict discipline. So say you have decided to watch one video a week and do one homework a week. Please try and be committed to that. Just stick on to it. And you'll realize that it is so interesting. Like for me, because I was lagging by about 25 classes, there were times when I used to do 3 or 4 homeworks a week. And I would stay up, I would still want to do more because it was so interesting. So my advice is do not push your homework for the next week, or if you have committed to one homework a week, please do it, because once you start pushing it, it will start piling up, and that will be the start for the demotivation. And let's make sure that that doesn't happen. So I would just request all of you to just follow an easy, comfortable, but a religious discipline. Yeah. So I really wish all of you the very best for your classes, for your study. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Charvi. And yeah, I mean, these offline courses, even I'm taking an offline course now. I'm studying Panini grammar offered by Vyoma, one particular course, and it happens to fall right at the time when I'm teaching the shloka class. So I cannot attend the live class. So I watch it after the video is posted. And it helps me because it's a very technical class, and things to memorize, things to write. And so I would pause, I would pause the video and then write my notes and some extra notes, and then resume the video and all that. So that helped me a lot. I never felt like I missed the live class in that particular course. So I think in this course, you all will have to make a decision after this session is over, which is whether you will want to, do the way the Charvi has studied. And except it's probably a little better than Charvi's approach, because you're going to have live tutorials. The tutorials will be live like this. Practice sessions will be live. But the classes will not be live, because you'll be watching a video of a class that has taken place in the past. So you will have to decide whether you want to, be part of this course, that kind of an approach. But once you've decided, I think all the materials and everything are available. So this is one example. You don't necessarily have to write these things down. We will try and send you an email with all this information. This is called Abhyasa Pustakam, a basic book from Samskrita Bharati, and it has all nice pictures and things like that, and picture-based kind of book. And so that always helps when we are learning a language. And a similar book called Bhasha Praveshaha by Samskrita Bharati again. And I use these books. We have digital copies of this. And of course, it's always nice to have a hard copy. Bhasha Praveshaha Part 2 with little more advanced concepts. Then there is one set of books published by what's called Rashtriya Sanskrit Samsthan. And so last time when the BJP was in power, 15 years ago, Murali Manohar Joshi was the Human Resource Minister. And so he's established a process where he decided Sanskrit is important, and organized the writing of these books. And there are about a series of 5 books. I recommend that you all find a way to buy it. And the beauty of this book is, this one is a thick book. And so it has all these beautiful pictures, and it's so amazing. And almost every concept has a picture. And I use this book in my classes too. And and a lot of exercises to work through, etc. So we've got thankfully all these good resources. And for an online course like this, we need all these resources to be available online, digital. And so what we do is we support these organizations, and we tell them that we are using these resources like this, so that we do things. We don't do things illegally, and so that's our way of showing our thanks to these individuals, these organizations. So there's a lot more to say, this and that, but anyway, the main things have been said. What I'm going to do is, since it's already getting late, any final thoughts, questions, raise your hand, unmute yourself, ask, say whatever. Go ahead, Shruti.
Sir, this book which you showed from Rashtriya Sanskrit Samsthanam, the book, is it the same as the Saral series which you mentioned in the registration?
No, it
area?
is not. It is not the same as the Sarala series. Thanks for asking.
Okay.
It is different, and
okay.
And so I probably did not mention the Rashtriya Sanskrit Samsthanam in the registration, but this is in addition to that. In addition to the Sarala series, Sarala series is also available with Samskrita Bharati.
Okay, so what is the name of this book? Like, if we need to buy this, and where can we buy this from?
Yeah, so I will send you that information, and by email, since you all received an email already from us. So we will follow that. You don't have to write anything down at this very moment.
Okay, thank you.
So should any communication break down in the future, you have my telephone number, and so please be in touch with me. Sudha Parimala, go ahead.
Is there an online resource for all these books? Because I tried already looking at the registration form to order for these books from Amazon, from Germany, but I couldn't find the books online on Amazon to buy it. So if there be a PDF version of these books, it would be great.
Yeah, so you will be given access to the PDF files of these books, and without which really I cannot teach a class like this, because if I want to show something, I do need to have a digital copy. So you don't absolutely need these books right away, but whenever you get a chance, I don't think Amazon will sell this. You have to go through other sources like Ramakrishna Mission or Vedanta Society or Samskrita Bharati or things like that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Great.
Yeah, Yajnam and then Hiran. Yajnam, go ahead.
As you mentioned, these books are copyrighted. Since we are using it online, I would like to pay some fee for that. So how do I pay that fee?
Yeah, so I will send you all that information later. Let's start the classes and let it move, and then we'll be happy to provide you that information.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I have a doubt because I'm totally new to Sanskrit. So just like Dr. Ayan said, I think I have mistaken. I don't even know any letters or basic nothing. So is it possible for me, like I don't mind taking that extra support from you and catch up with the class? Is it possible?
Yeah, I suppose anything is possible in this world, but
because not much exposure to Hindi language also.
I have already sent you a WhatsApp text, Jessa. So
okay. So you know what? I've been told, and I looked at it, and I offered some online resources to another friend of mine last year who was in the same position, and so I'll send you those links, and feel free to write to me, and
sure.
And then there were some online resources where the alphabet can be learned online, and Vyoma is also another resource where I let me talk to them and see what kind of resources they have. They have some software that they've built where you can actually interact with the software, and it will teach you how to pronounce and write and things like that. So let's see what we find out. and I'll be in touch with you.
Okay, then. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Okay.
I
Any
am
other?
interested too for alphabet. Why I can I cannot read the scripture.
Okay. Can you ask the question again?
Yes, I have also I have also to have alphabet courses. Why I don't know how to read the scripture.
Ah, right. So you're in the same. You're in the same
Yes.
position as Kiran and Ayal, and so
Yes.
okay. So send me a short text message on WhatsApp or something like that, and you can note down my. I think I've given you my telephone number. So send me a WhatsApp message, and then we will. I'll connect the three of you together, and we'll see what we can do. Yeah. So Sudha, Parimala, we could create one if there aren't any. Okay, yeah. So I think one of my students, Gunesh, might do that. So what will happen is you will get an email requesting you to join and join a Google group. Okay, and once you join the Google group, after that, in that Google group, you will get an email with all the information. This is, if you click this button, you can join the WhatsApp group. These days, I think you can self-add yourself, and so we will do all that. And so that should not be difficult. And so hopefully these emails don't go to spam and things like that. Just watch your spam folder for the next few days. And so that's the the teething problem, right? So the initial first few days is critical. So any other good questions? Any other thoughts, concerns, questions, doubts? Okay, good. So yeah, go ahead, Yagnamji.
Yeah, again, we also the same situations regarding the alphabet. We are not familiar with alphabets in Sanskrit.
Okay. Okay, so this group is slowly turning. It's like the tail wagging the dog. So
beginners.
Okay, so you four of you should form a group. I think we all should form a small group here and have a different side discussion. Okay, so Yagnamji, if you can also send me a short text message. Then we can take it up and see what I'm right now. I'm not. I know we had provided some links, etc., and there were some videos that I had seen to identify some nice resources. But I didn't find anything that was like I felt, yeah, this is it, and this series of videos would be enough. I didn't get that feeling. So let's pray and let's do the sankalpa and let's use this as an opportunity to find something for us. Okay. Okay. Excellent. Any other questions, thoughts?
So one last question. A friend of mine actually wanted to join this Sanskrit course, but he couldn't. By the time he looked into the online resource, the registrations were already full. So can I share the meeting ID to him, and then can he also join the group, or is it done for now?
See, he has to register. So that's the only way we can get his email address. Okay.
Okay.
So what we can do is send me a note, send me a WhatsApp message, and then we will have one of my students will help your friend register. And if he wants to attend the orientation session, the last session is tomorrow morning at 6:45 Indian Standard Time. So Sunday morning, 6:45 a.m. Same Zoom ID he can use and join. So you are welcome to forward that Zoom ID to him, and he can join the orientation. But if he doesn't register, he will not get any email. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you, sir.
All right. All right. Any other questions, thoughts? Samshayaha, prashnaha, vicharaha, santi va? Samshayaha means doubts, vicharaha, thoughts, prashnaha, questions. Good, good. Okay. So hope the session was useful. Fairly long session, 1 hour 45 minutes. But I hope I was able to. I succeeded in giving you a sense of what you can expect. And I'd like to thank Charvi.
It didn't feel like 1 hour.
And I think Charvi, maybe if you don't mind, if you can offer your telephone number, they want to talk to you for some reason. I think I'm open to that.
Okay. So my number is 9322612323. 9322612323. Yeah, that's
Thank you.
India number. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Charvi.
Thank you.
So let's conclude with a short prayer. Prarthanaya samapayamaha. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet, asato ma satkamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritangamaya. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thanks for